This is Umar for BoxNation. Joined with Gareth A Davies after a historic night at the Barclays Centre. Ryan Garcia had us all fooled, and he played a perfect sort of role before the fight, and he was near enough perfect in the fight last night. Your thoughts, Gareth?
Yeah, he did. He did. It was a big ruse, wasn't it, for weeks and weeks that he was unhinged. He wasn't. I said it all along. I felt that. I mean, I didn't. I know he was coming out with some bizarre things, but he look. If it had been the other way around, there'd been a lot of concern about him if he'd been beaten up during that fight. But he pulled off the improbable. He was a big underdog. But his power told. But he gambled. What he did was he gambled to sell the event, but he also gambled. I think he might have been. Boxers can be quite crazy at times, as you know, and he just went with the crazy. But maybe it was crazy genius. And in lots of ways, I think he gambled on going in heavy. Thought he would. Said to himself, "I'm going to pay the penalty." I think and went in there heavy, and he'll have to pay either 600,000 K, which is the official penalty, the $200,000 per pound over, or on the handshake, $500,000 a pound over. But it paid off for him. It was a big gamble, and he went for weight and power, and it worked for him.
Yeah. Do you think if he had made the weight, Gareth, and he wasn't, coming in at 143 on the weigh-in day, and obviously blew up to a huge weight for fight night, do you think we would have seen a different fight or not?
Yeah, we might well have seen a different fight. I mean, there are weight divisions for a reason. He was heavy. He deserves a little bit of critique for that, for not making the weight. Couldn't fight for the world title. It was always going to be staying in corner rather, Devin Haney's corner. The titles can't go to Ryan Garcia, but what they probably will do in a rematch is work out whether they'll fight at 147 or not, because Devin will want to get his W back because it was a performance he won't have been happy with. It's derailed him becoming the next Mayweather in lots of ways, but I think Garcia's played a very, very smart game, maybe a little outside the rules. And I'm going to say to you, it reminds me, and it's in my column, of a great Italian playwright called Luigi Pirandello, who wrote a play called Henry IV, Enrico il Quarto. And what Henry IV did was that he told all his courtiers that this was happening and that was happening, and everyone went with him. And in the end, the joke was on them because he was just pulling them along with him. And that's what Ryan did last night. He said, it was a ruse all along. I was absolutely fine. Obviously, it was strange things he was coming out with about the Illuminati and child kidnap and all kinds of weird stuff that he was talking about at the time. P. Diddy, all this kind of stuff. But listen, he earned the victory. I think a lot of people were pleased for him last night. I didn't like the Haneys saying that they wanted to badly injure him so he would never fight again. I didn't like all that talk, if I'm honest with you, going into it. I thought that was quite ill-advised. It got quite nasty. I'm sure the pay-per-view will be enormous on this event. It was a massive event. And as I say, the underdog pulled off the victory.
Yeah. What did you make of the referee's performance?
I thought the referee, if I've got to be honest about this, he seemed fairly skewed in favour of Devin Haney. I mean, there was a 9-8 round, wasn't there, when he dropped Devin, but it was a 9-8 round because he punched, I think, after he'd split them up, hadn't he? And he immediately took a punch away. I think, in the generality of it, it looked like the ref was being very thoughtful towards Devin Haney and not so much towards Ryan Garcia. And there was a lot of holding by Haney in the end. I mean, I really thought Garcia was going to get him out of there. Down in the 10th and the 11th as well, wasn't he? So, but it's almost like, apart from a couple of occasions, Haney didn't put a dent in Ryan Garcia, and that was testament to him probably being close to a middleweight when he was in there, I imagine, something like that. I mean, I wasn't there live, but you were there live. Did he look very big? He looked big to me.
He looked massive in the ring compared to Devin, and Devin's a big 140. He did look big. Yeah, he looked like a welterweight with a super lightweight in there. It really did.
It will be fair, as I say, if people give him some critique for not making the weight, because that's one of the things that the professionals should do. But I think he calculated to do it. I don't think that was beer in the bottle at the weigh-in. I think that was a ruse again. But I think because everyone was talking about his mindset going into the fight, maybe Devin underestimated him and it really cost him in the fight.
How good is Ryan Garcia's left hook?
Mm. We know the kid's got power. You watch him in all his videos, and we saw him last night. It's tenacious. Like it's almost like he had no respect for Haney last night. He took his time, took his moments, but when he attacked with everything. He had a lot of power. That left hook's really dangerous anyway. But I mean, we saw it from the very beginning, didn't we? And I also think the fact that he put Devin down so easily, so early, almost transformed the pattern of the fight. And it made Haney go into a shell and really box. Because for the first 3 or 4 rounds, Ryan was only looking for power.
One second, Gareth. Sorry, it's housekeeping. Sorry, can you come back later, please? Thank you. Sorry.
Is that what you've told this one?
It's housekeeping, Gareth.
Yeah, there you go.
I've got to check out in 30 minutes. Sorry, can you come back, please? I've got to check out at 12. Sorry, can you come back then? Don't know if you can hear me or not. Anyways, Gareth, what did you make of the confrontation, which then ended up in an embrace between Eddie and Ryan's father, Henry?
Well, Henry came past because I think everyone was listening to, as I say, that talk. I mean, if you recall our chats about Ryan going into this, I didn't like the fact that everyone gave their tuppence, that everyone suddenly, from boxers, journalists, promoters, managers, everyone became a psychoanalyst. Everyone became a psychotherapist when they're not. And I always said, when you look at his videos, it looks like he's training. He's definitely in shape. And who are we to mooch around and judge what's going on inside his head? And I always felt that even if he was going through something of a difficult time, it was better that he was in training and staying fit and was motivated towards the fight than withdrawing, when we know he's had anxiety before and he withdrew for almost a year from his career. And I think that was one of the things that played into it as well. Maybe there are things he needs to work on, I don't know, but I thought the analysis of him was quite harsh by some people. And, you know, I think I listened and watched a few of Eddie's interviews going into the contest on the last couple of days. And obviously that every set piece was manic from the very first press conference with both of the men. And I think, you know, Eddie questioned Ryan's mindset and believed, like many of us, that Ryan might unravel in there. And I think that was Henry, Ryan's father, just reacting afterwards with emotion, you know, and saying, you know, he called Eddie a couple of names, but they did make up afterwards.
Straight away,
and they did actually talk to each other. I think it was just the emotion of the occasion coming out with Henry, if anything.
Okay, just to close off, this has just happened as we're talking. So Ryan Garcia has posted in response to Conor Benn, let's run it in London at the O2. I will fracture you. Shout out London.
Oh, I think it would be amazing if Ryan came here. That would sell out in an instant. He's become a megastar. I've been calling him after last night the people's champion. The caveat to that is, and people are right to say this, the criticism of him not making weight, but I do think he garnered a lot of support. The arena was for him last night in the end. He garnered a lot of support globally last night for his achievements, because some people do feel he is going through something. If he comes to London and he fights Conor Benn, those are going to be really hot tickets. Yes, please. It'll be a great fight. I see Garcia as a big favourite.
Okay, Gareth, appreciate your time. And I'll speak to you when I get back into the country, no doubt.
All right, mate. Cheers. Cheers. Safe travels.
Thank you.